Hi, folks. Steve Urban here, founder and CEO at recruiting and consulting firm Riderflex. If you think today's tip or guest interview can help someone you know, please share this with them. And if you enjoy listening to our show, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button on the episodes. Finally, aside from our podcast, our day job here at Riderflex is to provide recruiting, staffing, and consulting services. You can visit riderflex.com to learn more about us and get the information on the services we provide. And now, a quick word from our sponsor and friends at Marketing 360.
Try the #1 marketing platform for small business. Everything you need from design to marketing to CRM. Learn more at marketing360.com. Marketing 360. Fuel your brand.
All right, sir. You ready to rock and roll?
Yes, sir.
I was already recording there, but I like to hit record before I get.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, we've done. I think we've had over 200 guests, but I have had one instance where I forgot to hit record, and ever since then, I was like, okay, from now on.
That just happened to me. She didn't record her side of it, and I had to do it again.
Oh,
that was brutal. Like that was my last podcast. I'm like, oh my gosh, like that.
Yeah.
So
ever since then, I just turn the record button on right away. I don't want to. Yeah. And then I'll edit it. Hey, great to have you on, Darin Dawson on the Riderflex podcast from BombBomb. Awesome to have you, Darin. Are you down south, Colorado Springs today?
I am. I'm actually in Palmer Lake.
Okay.
So I think I'm closer. Yeah. Yeah. I'm little town, only about 1,800 folks. I love it. No stoplights, no bright lights at night. But I'm between, as you know, Denver and Colorado Springs. So it makes it easy for me to get to the city,
Yeah. How are they keeping that small? Are the town leaders or are they purposely keeping that small?
Well,
how are they doing?
We're kind of landlocked, honestly. So we're butted right up against the mountain. There's just not any more spots to build.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
even in water taps, I think there's 5 more available. So come from wherever, get them while you can. There's only 5 left here. So we're kind of landlocked. So we're kind of stuck between the 2 cities. There's just not a lot of room. We're on the mountain, so to speak.
Beautiful area. You get any black bears coming up on your back porch?
It's like, yeah, black bears and mountain lions. I swear, like it's mountain lions. We know they're here. We got all these Nest cameras. And so cool. We got a ton of deer, So with the deer come the mountain lions. And so, yeah, and it's like, we have next door and you just thumb through and it's all missing cat.
Really? Yeah. You let your cat run around out in Palmer Lake.
That's bad. We don't have any bunnies running around. There's no small things. They're all gone. It's deer, mountain lions, and black bears. That's it.
Yeah, neighborhood cats, that'll attract the mountain lions.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten close to? Have you ever walked around the corner of your house, or you're taking out the trash, and boom, there's one a little close, like it kind of made you like, oh, I'm all right.
I'm crazy. All my friends have seen them. I've never seen one. I'm sure they've seen me, for sure. The closest experience I have is my across the road neighbor. They have horses, they have chickens, they have a kind of nice little spread going on. And we had a big snow one morning, and he walks out, and his dog, a mountain lion grabs and pins his dog to the ground with one paw, right? Ooh. He's like, oh my gosh. And he looks up, and there's 4 more behind. So it's like mother and then adolescent, almost adults with her. They had taken down a deer in the snow, and she's just like, you need to get out of here. So he throws his coffee on the mountain lion. It's a great way to start a podcast. Throws his coffee on a mountain lion, and the mountain lion lets go of my neighbor's dog. Dog's instantly bam, gone, back in the house, leaves him, abandons him, full out, right? And he kind of just backed up slowly, and he sent me a bunch of pictures. This is roughly 50 yards from my front door and my 3 children. But, we just kind of learn to live with it. I think people get freaked out when I tell them that story, but we just kind of
Yeah, just kind of be careful. Just be cautious, just kind of look around, watch your surroundings. Don't, you just
can't see them. They are literally silent and they are invisible. I mean, they are camouflaged. So I'm sure that I've been very close to them, but I have not seen one with my own eyes. Heard them at night, haven't seen them.
Yeah, same. Same for me. I go camping in the mountains all the time. And I've probably been 15 times this year. And I've been doing it for 15 years, and I've never actually seen a mountain lion in person, like up close, but I'm sure that they're watching me.
They're sure watching you. Yeah. My buddy and I, we were in Pagosa Springs. They're in this habitat for animals, like rescue. And we're like, man, there must not be a mountain lion in here. It's supposed to be a mountain lion in here. We're just looking and looking and looking. And it was right in front of us. It was like 6 yards and just looking at us. I mean, we did that for 5 minutes. I'm ashamed to admit it, but because I would not survive in the wilderness very long. Obviously,
yeah, me either.
The mountain lion was literally invisible to me.
Well, one last note on that before we get into business stuff or get into your life. One last note on that. I always, when I go up high in the mountains, especially if I'm in the wilderness and I'm by myself, especially if I'm solo, I will carry a knife, and sometimes I'll have a weapon on me, if I'm alone. And I had a friend of mine tell me, he goes, listen, man, he goes, I have been charged by black bears, mountain lions, probably 10 or 15 times. He said, it's cool that you have all those weapons on you. He goes, but none of those times did I ever have a chance to pull a weapon out.
No, I'm hoping we'll carry bear spray. That's what we carry as a deterrent. Because I just hope I can get that. There's no way. I'm not that good of a shot, Steve. I would miss.
You're fumbling. You're pulling it out. You're dropping it on the ground.
I'm just hoping I can get the spray spread to be at least 5 feet in diameter. I hope I get that kind of distance, and it just slows it down or something, so they can kill me and my family can escape. Right.
There you go. Are you from Colorado, or where are you from?
I'm actually from Michigan, but I've been here for like 27 years. So I moved out here when I was 21.
Did you move out here for school, or what? Did you move out here? Were you one of those Subaru guys, like your stuff's in the back and you just drove out?
Well, it wasn't a Subaru. I believe it was a Dodge Shadow, if I have to think back. There's no way I could have afforded a Subaru. No, fun story about this is I was dating an Air Force cadet, right?
Okay.
So had a girlfriend, she were young.
And she was from like, you guys knew each other in Michigan.
That's
and
right.
She went to the Air Force.
High school. Right. Let's call it high school. And she's going to go to the Air Force Academy. Well, no one told me really that there's like 4,000 dudes and like 2 girls. So that didn't work out. So that ended abruptly. But I got to go to Colorado. Yes, so I was kind of one of those hippie kids a little bit. And to quote my father, college wasn't for me. I remember my dad being like, maybe college isn't for you because you're obviously not doing well at it. And so I moved to Colorado with my buddy and started a business and kept starting businesses, and then ended up doing this business. So
what'd your folks do?
My dad worked for the power company, and my mom was a school teacher for 42 years.
So no entrepreneurial stuff there.
And great story of my father actually was, and my grandfather was. I got a picture of my grandfather right in front of me here.
Okay.
Owned grocery stores. My dad owned one of the first TV stores. Had 5 different TV stores, like in the 50s.
Okay. So he worked for the power company, but he had these stores on the side.
No, he did it after. So he had a bad deal with his business partner. Business partner kind of like embezzled a bunch of money. My dad's experience with entrepreneurism was a bad one.
Okay.
So I've always felt like I'm restoring that for us, because we have a long generation of entrepreneurialism. My grandfather, my dad, my brother, but and for me, like I've always seen it that way. Like dad got banged up by it, and I'm kind of like bringing that back for the family a little bit.
The TV stores. Wow. I remember those. I'm actually old enough to remember
the
those.
World's Fair, because he had sold the most TVs, right? Like they ran this promotion for like RCA or something. And he always told me, he always had, those are the glory days for him. And then working at the power company was like,
Yeah. Was he a sales guy in the power company? Was he sales?
No, he was in management. So he was in like my dad had a job where if you blew yourself up in rural Michigan because your plow hit the gas main, which happened more than you like it. He would be the one that had to do the investigation and like, so.
Wow.
Manage natural gas, all the stuff to do with natural gas.
Okay. So, all right, cool. Any siblings?
My brother is older. He's 5 years older. Yeah.
5 years older. Okay.
He's a radio guy.
He's a radio guy. Ties into, that must tie into your TV stuff or something somehow. How does that work? Yeah. Walk me into your early career. Go for it.
So it is interesting. We both kind of did this same time that I was working at a TV station, which you're alluding to. and he's been in radio since he was like 17. He was on the air for 17 years,
Wow.
18 years, had a syndicated radio show. Now he's a producer. So he does that. But I worked for a TV station. It kind of, I worked for a marketing company. I owned a couple marketing companies, and then I had minor shares and we sold those. And then I was looking for a job that was local and then travel as much. I was selling down. We're having our first kid and I was getting married. And I went to one of our customers, which was the NBC affiliate here in Colorado Springs. It's called 𝐂𝐫.
And they were a customer from a marketing perspective. They
they were a marketing customer. We were consulting them and what they called new media, right? Online, how to do this, email marketing and pay-per-click and all this stuff. So I kind of walked into that at an early age for me. And I didn't go to college. Met some guys though that were into this pay-per-click and stuff. And actually I ran a painting company. Okay. I just go all the way back. I ran a painting company with my now co-founder at BombBomb, Connor. We owned a painting maintenance company.
Wow.
We used to do house painting. We had about.
How'd you meet him?
He's actually from my hometown too.
Okay.
But he was on a road trip with some mutual friends to Colorado, just stayed in Colorado.
Now I'm having a visual. How old were you guys at the time? You're
probably 24.
20. You're in this. I can just say you're in this apartment. You're in this apartment.
Yeah.
You're drinking 𝐂𝐫 beer. You're probably smoking some things, and you're trying. You're like, okay, man, what are we gonna do?
Like you're pretty much there, dude. It was in a house, but that's the only thing they got wrong. But everything else, everything else.
I know what we can do. We can paint houses. Yeah,
it's a great story, dude. He actually. So we were already painting houses. I was already doing that, and
love it.
He was on this road trip, and they were going into a parking garage, and then their bikes. They're actually going to Moab, Utah, to ride bikes, mountain bikes. But he broke his headset of his bike going into a parking garage, and he didn't have any money to fix the bike to go to Moab. I'm like, hey, you work for me.
There it is. Come help me do this project.
Yeah, $150, and then you can fix your headset. So the irony, the ironic part of the story is that we did a project together. We painted that next day.
Okay.
The place that we painted was the atrium of the building. Now we have 3 floors of at BombBomb.
That's cool.
It's like a 15-story building.
That is pretty cool.
We painted that together.
Wow.
Didn't know this, but I remember being like, I wonder what these people do in this. Like we're like these kids. And now we own like 3.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, the interesting part of that is if he hadn't banged his head that day, none of this may have happened.
I don't know. That's fascinating. It's really good. So he stayed in Colorado. We had this paint company. We were doing a ton of residential painting, but we ran this really interesting thing online. We would advertise our website, say, go to this website and use our calculator to find out how much we will charge you to paint your house.
Okay.
This is crazy. It's like 2001.
Yeah, nobody else is doing this. This is like huge. This is new, fancy.
Nuts. That's basically Zillow. That's their whole business model right now, right? How much is your house worth? We would go get your online calculator and find out how much we'll paint your house for.
Okay, cool.
Crushed it. Then we'd come and validate the estimate, and we would close you and sell you. And we had 50 painters working for us, and they would just come in.
How about that? That's awesome.
I was early into the pay-per-click, and then I got to the TV job because of that. So they were getting into it. They didn't understand it. Built a website with them. I was running content people, and we're running salespeople selling digital advertising for the TV station.
And then what? They said, "Okay, come work for us."
Yeah. So we were helping them build that. And I was looking for a transition. I was like, hey,
why were you transitioning? You had a successful.
We sold the company. We'd sold the marketing company. And we sold it to, it was like a multi-level marketing company. I didn't love it. I just wasn't, I had to stay. And I went to one of the customers we had and said, hey, do you know anyone locally that would hire me? Because I was traveling. I just want to change. He said, well, we would hire you. I'm like, really? Okay, what do you want to do? And he's like, well, we need somebody to kind of run this. No one knows this. Like, you guys know this. So how about you just run it?
All right.
So I got to do that. I got to be, and in that was the only job I've ever had where I wasn't kind of the entrepreneur. Right. And so, I think the key to that, and this is a key for a lot of people, if you are an entrepreneur, you're listening to this, are you working in an environment that they allow you to be an entrepreneur? I think that's a big deal, right? So
that's a big one.
They let me be an entrepreneur inside of that and build this for them. So it was a lot of fun, actually.
And what would your partner do during this time?
He was working then he went and worked at Lamar Outdoor. So Lamar selling billboards.
Okay. I see. So he's working there. You're working for the TV station. Are you married at the time now? Now you got kids.
Yes.
Where are you at?
Just getting married.
Just getting married.
Married
okay.
6 months, married a year, maybe something like that.
Well, something like that. And you took the job. Okay. So then life moves along there. And then pretty soon you and your buddy are like having a beer and you're like, hey man, let's start something else.
Yeah. We're always trying to start something else. Like the cool story here is that Connor had gone to Africa.
Okay.
And met some people in Africa and met a community in Africa. And he was like, I'm going to go live in Africa. I'm like, sweet, dude, that's awesome. All right. And he's like, yeah, I just want to figure out a way that I can create money so I can live in Africa. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And so we were always just brainstorming ideas. I was trying to always hustle in different stuff. And this was 2004, 2005, I think.
Okay.
And we were involved in a couple of different things. One of the things we had done in the marketing company is we made this thing called Collect and Connect that was like this automated email follow-up tool. And Connor was like, dude, that would be so much better. This was over the beer. This would be so much better if you could add video to this. If you could add video to this email thing, I'm like, that's a great idea.
Great idea.
We're talking at this brewery. It's Bristol Brewery in Colorado Springs.
Okay. All right.
Think about this. I'm like, this is cool. Like, and then we've been back then. You collected URLs, right? Like, like CollegeSprings.com. If you thought a URL back then was going to be big,
you bought it. Yeah, you bought it. Yeah.
So we had bought one that was called BombBomb.
How did you buy that? Why?
Because true story. Okay, Steve, this woman that Connor was talking to at the time was like, said to him, Connor, you're the bomb.com. He's like, that's a great URL. He tried to buy bomb.com, couldn't get it, bought BombBomb. And that's what
did he try to buy you're the bomb.com? Did he get that?
I think that was the whole idea. Like, right. Like that's the slang idea, but bomb.com. Then later, actually, bomb.com tried to sell to us. We're like, no, we're good. We don't need that anymore.
Okay. But you bought that URL before the brewery thing where you're talking about this company.
He was just,
I see.
Connor was just sitting on.
Okay, so he said
a bunch of URLs.
I see. Okay, so all right, so now you're talking over this video thing. All right, go ahead. Yep.
So then he cobbles together. We put a server in his closet. He cobbles together this email with a video. Because, dude, okay, for reference, this thing did not have a phone in it. It didn't have a camera in it. Holding up an iPhone for you listeners. iPhone did not have a camera in it. YouTube was privately held. This was new. No one was thinking about video anything. And so posted a video on a server in his closet in his house. And then we just pointed to that hosted video in an email. And it said, hi, I'm Connor McCluskey. If I can be of service to you, please contact me in my personal line. And we made a phone number show up. That was the video. That was the first video.
And what was he pitching in the video?
He was a sales guy. So he had sent this. Our whole idea was like, man, if you could be in person more often with our customers, you would sell more. Okay. We knew that the more that we were face to face, the better we did. And I was running a team. He was an individual contributor. We're like, man, every time they rolled something out at the TV station, new package, a new product, a new thing to sell, I got to dial all these people one at a time.
I got you.
About it. Yeah, we're trying to solve that problem, right? Connor had the same problem.
I see.
Well, how
you
do
guys are, yeah. You guys are putting this. You're putting this server in the closet and getting this stuff set up while you're both still working those full-time jobs, right?
100%. And so what we want to do is increase our face-to-face time with our clients because we're better face-to-face. We believe people are better face-to-face. So
yes, absolutely.
How do we get more face-to-face more often with more people to condense that time to make more money? That was the whole idea. Sent that video. Everybody came back from reply like, how did you do that? That's amazing. What service did you use to do that? Connor's like, boom, this is what gets me to Africa. We're going to do this. I was like, you're right. This is awesome. I'm down, like totally in. So
what do we call it? What do we call it? Well, I don't know. Let's go through my URL list.
And then it's like, we're going to use, I can see it right now. We're going to use the BombBomb one for this. That's what he said. We're going to use the BombBomb URL. I was like, yes, BombBomb. That's how it started.
It's so good, man. Wow, that is great story.
And
Right
my
there.
wife and I threw some cash in. Connor throws cash in, and we get a business that we didn't know anything about.
How long did you run it before you quit your jobs?
So that was 2006 when all that really went down, I think. And then I quit my job in 2011. He quit his in 2007.
2007. Wow. Okay, great. All right. So that's another tip for the listeners. Hey, you don't have to quit right away. Make sure get something going. Make sure there's a customer for it. Validate all that. Proof of concept, whatever term you want to use. Right.
Early on, we blew a bunch of money on developers. Didn't know what they're doing. We didn't know. This again. I think now it's like you can go read blogs, listen to podcasts about how to start a SaaS company. Dude, SaaS was not a term being used then. So we had made a lot of bad decisions, a lot of dumb money, our own money, because we had been making money. That was the thing. We had done okay. And so we had money, but we quickly blew through that, got our third co-founder, Kevin. He had ran and he had patents that he had developed. He's an electrical engineer by trade.
Okay.
Patents he developed for DSL technology, really smart guy. But more importantly, he had ran 200 developers. So he was like a CTO. Then it sold that company and was getting a art history degree in Colorado Springs. And Connor met him like, hey, dude, can I pick your brain? And Kevin jumped on to help us really get it going.
And he bought in.
Yep.
He bought in. Okay. Is he still part? Are all three partners still part of the business? He's
a silent partner. We're still operating partners, but he's still involved. Talked to him last month, but now he lives in Seattle. And
is Connor in Africa or is he here?
Connor's here. Connor realized, wait a minute. Okay, the whole purpose of Africa is to help people in Africa. Well, I can do that. BombBomb's going to do that in a big way, even more than me being there. So we all realized this was a bigger thing. Like as it got rolling, this was going to be special. This is a thing. So he's here. Goes to Africa, still involved. Now, the fun part about that, Steve, is our community at BombBomb supports. I should say that community in Africa supports our community in BombBomb. We did a deal where we collaborate with that community. And so our people that work at BombBomb are connected with these people in Africa, helping kids get clean water, food, education, medical care, all these things. So it's awesome. It's why you work at BombBomb. And I think, you can pick up the phone anywhere. You could be a salesperson anywhere. You could be customer success, but engineer. But at BombBomb, I hope people know the reason we're doing this is stuff like that. That's why I got my Rehumanize shirt on. It's like, I want to rehumanize the planet with what we're trying to do with BombBomb. Like that was the idea in the beginning. The idea was, how does Connor go to Africa? Now it's, how does BombBomb support Africa, our local community? We do a lot with the homeless in our community. We do a lot with the homeless families, free medical care for women. We really try and dial that in. I think you got to have a why, and the why has to be more than just making money at your job.
The Rehumanize is a book you can buy on Amazon. Is that correct?
That's correct. So that book's called Rehumanize Your Business. Got it right here.
Yeah, cool. Let's see it. All right. Rehumanize your business. All right. Right. Okay.
And that's all about using video and being more human inside of the business, right? Like it's that same first premise. Like, how do we get in front of people more often? Because we're better in person. Like people are better in person. People communicate better face to face. And so that's what that book's all about.
Are you an author on the book? I didn't see your name on it.
I'm not. No. So even better story. In my opinion, I'm proud to not have written that book. I did not go to college. I can't write. I can barely put together. So Ethan Butte, very dear friend of mine, who was also a co-director with me at the TV station back in the day, since you have that context.
I see.
He and I worked together at the TV station. Ethan was one of the first people Jerry Maguired. I'm like, I'm leaving and you're coming with me. Who's with me? And Ethan's like, I'm leaving too. So Ethan was our first VP of marketing and marketing guy. Now he's our chief evangelist. He runs our podcast, the Customer Experience Podcast.
Nice.
And then Steve Passanelli, who was a customer of ours, who I convinced that he should be our CMO. So our CMO and our chief evangelist wrote that book, and they're about to release another book in November.
Is the book owned by BombBomb, the entity then? Does the company own the book rights? I see.
Yeah, it's our book. Okay. They wrote, the story I kind of told you about us, Connor and I, it's in the first part of that book.
That's very cool. All right. Very good.
You got this book coming out. It's called Human Centered. Gosh,
Let me get that. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Human-centered communication.
That's the book coming out in November that they're writing. We got Fast Company to publish that with us. We're really excited about that. It's going to be a part of a book release with them.
Same authors?
Same author, Stephen. But this time we actually collaborated with 12 other people to kind of talk about what we mean and what they mean about human-centered communication. About, I think we can go down this hole, but I think we have a problem right now. We call it digital pollution. Like, just so much. Like, when I get done talking to you,
yes,
I will have been, you will too. You'll have something in LinkedIn. You'll have a text message from someone you don't know. Even like 10 emails that are cold outbound. Like, it's just getting ridiculous. And so this book is really just about, hey, people are people. We need to put the customer first again. We need to think about the people, like we're serving them, not them serving us somehow through revenue, right? Like, I just think we're so revenue forward, which I'm about making money, but I'm about helping people solve problems with what I do. First, I want their best intentions to be, I want their outcomes met. So that's what that book's about. So we got 𝐃𝐚𝐫𝐢𝐧 from Winning by Design. I got the CEO of Remax, Adam Contos. He's a writer in that book. So just a bunch of really great folks. Shep Hyken, real thought leader in customer success. A lot of great authors contributed to that book, along with Steve and Ethan. So it's a bunch of authors kind of talking about the same concept.
Very good. I do. I wholeheartedly believe that we're losing that human contact, that human interaction. And you're right. Just the emails and the sales emails on LinkedIn. I mean, Messenger on LinkedIn used to be somewhat valuable, but anymore it's just chat bot emails and bullshit automated things that.
And I wonder let me ask you a question about this. Like, cause I always like to ask people what they think. Like, do you even think that they're from a real person anymore?
No. And that's the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah, no, and I had this guy call me recently. I'm sure people are always trying to sell you stuff too, right? Always trying to sell us stuff because we're a recruiting firm, so they're always trying to sell us something that's going to make our recruiting firm great. He's like, "Hey, man, we got this software that allows your bots to talk to the other bots," and I'm like, "What?
What? Wait a minute.
What are you talking about? Like, no."
I think when that happens. So here's what it used to be. You and I can remember this. You get an email even from someone and be like, even if you weren't interested, there was this level of reciprocity. We're like, well, I'm going to let them know I'm not interested. I'm going to reply. I would reply. You felt like you needed to, right? There's reciprocity in that.
Yes.
What we've done is we have this, it's like nuclear proliferation of this. Yes. And now it's like, there's no reciprocity. And if I don't believe you're a real human being, I don't have reciprocity. Okay,
that's right.
When human beings connect, like there's a connection just because we're human, and so we're removing that, and I think that's really, 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 really bad. And
I do too. And I want to shout out to all of my technology CEOs that have been on the podcast that are building all these AI tools. Okay,
no, there's a place for all of it.
More power to you. I think there's a place for some of it, but when you start building a society where we don't talk to each other, I got a problem with that. And so, you know what I mean? It's gotten out of hand. Go ahead.
It should be a means to an end. It shouldn't be as, look, the other thing we don't think about is this inverseness of it. I think that if we're really trying to get after a 2.4% conversion rate, that's the problem. That what about the 98% that did not open it? Like, what about that? Are you worried? Is your addressable market endless? Is it endless? Because it would have to be.
It would have to be.
If you're just blast to get this incremental outcome that we think makes sense in a spreadsheet. So
I remember when I first saw your product. So Scott, my partner, he found your product and he nudged me a couple of times like, "Hey man, I talked to these guys at BombBomb, and of course, at first I'm busy and he's busy, and I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. I'm busy, right?" And finally, he's like, "No, I need you to look at this. I need you to look at this." And he sends me the message, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is great. Yeah, this is cool right here. Like, yes, let's use this. And it's video messaging, I guess, at its core, right? A simple description, video messaging, where for the listeners, in case you don't know, by the way, let's just throw it out there for the listeners real quick. BombBomb.com. So it's BOMB.com, BombBomb.com. Video messaging. Go there. You can learn all about it. Plus they're on all the social media pages. But what we've used it for at Riderflex, the recruiting firm, is we've used it for, email messaging. Scott, who is our sales guy for the recruiting side of the business. So when he sends a message now, he's like, hey, look, in the body of the email, there are some stats and some numbers, and maybe he's attaching the contract or whatever, but there's a video message too that says, hey, just want to drop you a personal message. I know there's a lot of shit below that, you're probably not going to read anyway. So let me just talk to you about it. And I remember when he first started using it, I thought, wow, this is great. Now, when you guys first came out, my question now is, I think you were the only ones, right? I don't know if there was patented, super secret
There was
technology.
there was like some multi-level marketing companies that were into it, but
Okay.
very in a smaller way. Yeah, that was their biggest competition at that time.
But now you got, you got some competition. I know there's two or three others.
We got Vidyard, you got Loom.
Yeah.
Those are two big ones, right?
Yeah. Right. So how do you, what's the difference? How do you battle that? Talk to me about that. Go ahead.
I'm gonna look, we have been doing this so long. And I think what we've cracked the code on is that we help your companies use it. Here's the deal. There's a lot of bad videos too. Okay. And the biggest problem you're going to face if you actually buy my product or theirs is use. Okay. Why? Because we're talking about like, why wouldn't you use video? We're using video now. People are afraid of how they look on camera.
They are, aren't they? Why?
People don't like how they sound. And so,
I think it's both. I think it's both.
Right.
I think a lot of times they're like, oh, my hair's not fixed, or I don't have the right shirt on, or I didn't shave today, or I didn't put my makeup on, or whatever. They're always like, oh my God. Hell, when I call my own mother and I try to get her on freaking video on the phone, she's like, well, I don't want to turn the camera on. I didn't fix my hair today.
Bingo. So you got it. So back to my TV days, we've been training people forever. So, like since television started, that you have to look a certain way, and it's got to be like
right. Brainwashed them in that way.
Right.
Yes.
So now Zoom, like we're doing this, we're doing synchronous video, but yeah, this is the problem. Okay. This is the problem. And frankly, I personally have sent something like 9,000 personal videos. I think I got people who have been at BombBomb, as long as me, they sent upwards in 20,000 personal videos, 1-to-1. Yeah. We know how this works. We know about it. We know how to get teams motivated to do it. We know how that works, because that is the biggest problem to solve. You got to get people over the hump. You got to incentivize them. You got to help them. It's psychological. We train people on this all the time, because the problem is not about the technology. It's not about the features of the technology. It's about the use of the technology.
I like it.
That's it.
I like it. Yeah, I totally.
So our
totally
core
agree.
competencies at BombBomb are two. It's like, one, speed the video, because if it's not fast, you won't do it. Two is guidance to success, because this is the fear of video, how I look. It's a real thing. Men and women, doesn't matter. Everyone has this fear of like, I don't want to look incompetent. I want to come across incompetent.
It's true. And we have 11 active recruiters at Riderflex right now. And do you know how many times I have said, guys, you can make these videos, like you can make a video message and it's going to be 100 times better. And they just won't do it. They just don't want to do it. I think it's all the reasons you're talking about.
So here's the deal. It comes down to this. You have to believe that this is a better human experience, and that's why our book is called Human-Centered Communication. Like, it's not just about video. It's about putting the customer first. And how do you do that best? I believe that human beings have intrinsic value, and that when we communicate with each other, we have nonverbal communication. I'm using my hands. If you're not watching this, I'm animated, right? My nonverbal communicates more than my verbal. Inflection, tone, all these things matter in communication. And so if you believe that that's the better experience for your customers, and that ultimately, which I believe, and if you don't believe what I'm about to say, then you shouldn't do anything that we're saying. But if you think that people actually, at the end of the day, buy from people they know, like, and trust, you should consider using video, because
absolutely, yes,
you can't build know, like, and trust if you don't know someone. Like, it goes all the way back to the Stone Age, right? If we kept our hands hidden back in the caves, what do you think I got behind me? a weapon, right? Like, so it comes back to that. If I don't see you, do I really know you? Can I trust you?
Right. And it's all about the relationships and the trust factor that you build with somebody in the rapport. I talk to my team about this all the time. You know, they'll call me and they'll be like, well, you know, I got this issue and I sent this email and here's the email exchange. And I'll go, this is what I'll say. I'll say, did you call them? Did you talk to them? Did you get them on video?
Right.
Did you get them on Zoom? Because if you just get them on Zoom and have a conversation, this will be solved in like 5 minutes.
If you can't, just send a video.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I messed up. I sincerely apologize.
Yes.
I want to tell you, I am on it. How I'm doing this right now, if you can see
Bingo.
me on,
Bingo.
that communicates. You're going to get that phone call. You're going to get that Zoom call.
Yeah.
This is the other analogy I use is if you had two companies they had to choose from, say two recruiting companies, right? And you both offer the same service. Your technology has, even in mind, the same features for the most part. Like you have everything I need. You're exactly the same. Your price is the same. How do I decide which one I buy?
Relationship.
And so how do we build relationships? How does that happen? How does it happen in a pandemic when I can't go see you?
Right.
How do you do it? You do it through this. You get to know people. Know, like, and trust is built through humans experiencing humans. And this is why we believe human-centered communication, video is kind of the way to go.
Talk to me about the business model real quick for the listeners. Is it monthly subscription? Is it by user? Is it by video sent? What do you do?
It's by user or a monthly subscription. So if you're a big company and we got companies with thousands of users, you can buy it for your whole team, or you can buy it individually at a monthly rate or an annual rate. So,
okay. So you can go month to month.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. That's great news. Cause you know, so many times people try to lock you into 12-month deals. So you can go month to month. Very, very good. What do you do when, I hope this is a fair question. What do you do when LinkedIn rolls this out as part of their technology on their messaging, or when Gmail just has this on there automatically?
Yeah, I've been facing this question since day one, so I'm good with it. Look, I think at the end of the day, we're focused in this, in our feature set and how we think about it. Again, remember, it's not about the technology. It's about you being on camera and the fear of video and the guidance you need there. Okay. So that's a big part of our offering that we bring to the table for you and your team. The other thing though is LinkedIn has a video option. I don't see a lot of usage on that. Do you? Also, you can use our functionality in anything. You're a Gmail user, we're there. You're Outlook, we're there. You're a LinkedIn user, great, we're there. Messenger and Facebook, we're there. Like, you want to send an email to 100 people? We can do that. You want to send it from your phone? We can do that. Like any platform, Salesforce, Outreach, all these other things, right? So we integrate with all these platforms. It's one system that you can apply to anything you're using.
Great. What's the plan for the future? Are you get some M&A? Are you going to buy Vidyard? Are you going to sell it to Vidyard? What's
I don't, it's interesting. We think about that all the time. We're bootstrapped. We're still doing this, man. I think, I like that. Like, I like owning my company. I don't have a venture capital person. We have some great investors that came along to ride with us, but I think you have taken on some cash. Yeah. My buddy.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's literally all friends and family. We have one institutional, but that's very small. They would like to be bigger. I bet you're listening, Mark. Someday it'll happen. We're not against it at all. I think we just need to hold out. We're just trying to hold out, because the longer I hold out, the more my evaluation is, and the better it is for everyone. And I got this missional thing, man. Like, that's the other deal. Like, how do I continue what we're trying to do to rehumanize the planet? Will that person take on that mission with me? Will that be a part of that story? Because it can't be just about the money. So that's
okay. By the way, I love the rehumanize mission. I love that. Is that like a trademark term or something? Did you get that? I don't know. Did you? I don't know.
No, it's not.
Anyway, I love it.
We got that from, like, we want to help people who are being dehumanized. That was the mission. Dehumanized people they're homeless. They can't get food. They can't get water. They're everywhere. They're in your backyard, and they're in Africa, and they're in South America, but they're here too, right? How do we help that? Like, and so then we got to rehumanize, and we're like, well, our technology also rehumanizes your business, because it puts your people, like, dude, you know this, if you were to talk to 9 or 10 business owners, what would they say? I bet 9 out of 10 of them say this. What is their best asset? What do you think their best asset in their business is?
The people.
You're in the people business.
Yep.
But we hide them behind technology. Like we spend hours.
It's so true.
Right?
True.
You spend hours interviewing them for their ability to communicate, to deliver a message, to close it down, whatever. And then what do? Here's a bunch of technology, do that. Like, and we take their superpowers away a little bit, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love what you're doing, and I'm completely in complete agreement. I see people that are afraid to talk to each other. They're afraid to have conversations with another human being, like face to face. It blows me away that we've built this society like that. It's crazy. I also believe, and I was telling my oldest son this, he was here last week, and I said, Nick, I believe in the future, every time you talk to somebody, it'll be video. Like, it'll be abnormal to have a voice conversation over the phone or over the computer unless you're seeing them. I just think you're in your house, it's just going to pop up on the wall, or it'll always be face to face like that. People need to get real used to, I just woke up, I don't have my makeup on, it's 7:30, and my mother-in-law calls, and her screen pops up and she can see me. Like, people have to get used to that, because I think every call will be on video, and at some point down the road, if you're talking to somebody with no video, it'll be weird. That's my prediction.
I agree. I mean, but of course, I'm sold out here, but I do believe it's like going to be like video voicemail.
Yes.
And remember when we got in the business, like, you had to be trained on phone calls, trained on voicemail, like all these tactics. We'll be trained on this. This is a part of it. And that's what I want to lead. I want to lead the training on this idea, right? Like, I want to help everyone understand this is viable. This is as necessary as the phone call. If you believe your people are your solid assets, if you believe that people still buy from people they know, like, and trust, and if the customer experience that you're giving versus your competitor is important to you, I think this is going to become necessary.
You remember those old Star Trek episodes when they'd send the video messages from Central Command to the ship? The message, there was no email. There was no email. Captain Picard or whatever, Captain Kirk, you just press a button, watch the video message from the commander, right? I mean,
that's the cool so we're asynchronous, right? So here, the whole idea that I can send a message on my time and you can view it on your time. Yes. That's the other thing, this time constraint. We're actually seeing that, like, it collapses the deal cycle, right? Because your time to close, look, if you can minimize your time to close in the deal cycle, will you make more money? The answer is absolutely 100% yes. So how do you do that? With the async video, you can do a screen capture, you can screen share, walk through a presentation. It's good for a follow-up call to a presentation, but like, send that and then let that make its way around that buying and decision group, right? Like, that's the principle. And once that happens, I don't have to get the 3 other people on the meeting. They already got the information. Let's get the deal done quicker. That's the good. I think I always like to point to a tangible, like, but really, why should I do it? Fine. You want your deal cycle to be lower or smaller. Implement video just in that stage.
I love that. And I mean, how many times is email misinterpreted, right? Plus, you can't get the emotional feel of it. You can't really emphasize the way you want to. And on video, you can. I use it all the time. I'm a huge video guy, right? I mean, Riderflex has this podcast. I'm on video all day long.
Well, I'm like, as my 9th Zoom this morning or today, it's not even morning anymore, but you know what I mean? Like, I think we're getting more and more used to it. And I think it will become more prevalent sooner than later.
How many employees, by the way? How big is it? I don't know how much you want to share. Like, what generals, can you give us a general idea of size? Yeah.
145, probably have 15 open jobs right now.
Well, so I know a really good recruiting firm, by the way. We'll have to talk about that offline. No, 150. Congratulations. No, in all seriousness, what I love, and I think should be really celebrated here, is you've been in business for how long? 11 years? 10 years?
Yeah, give or take. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's call it 10, 11 years there. You still own 100% with your partners. You haven't taken on any PE or VC. You're still in control. Right. I'm assuming you're probably debt free for the most part. And you've built it to 150 employees and taught yourself how to be a business owner and CEO, and it's still going strong. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Well, I would say that anybody, look, if you're at $1 million, dude, if you got anybody to buy the thing you made, congratulations. That's what I'd say. If you're in business, you start a business, you got someone to do something that you came up with, that's success. I'm super pumped to get to this point, but like, reward yourself along the way. If that's you, if you're at 250 grand, like, go get a steak dinner or whatever you're into.
You're right. If somebody the very first time you get a check-in where somebody bought your product or service and you deposit it in the bank, that is a special moment.
It's your business. You're like, whoa, best ever.
I remember the first $10,000 deposit we got for a big search at Riderflex. Scott and I took it down to the bank together. We're holding it. And, the bank lady is like taking a photo. We're standing there.
Connor and I always do this. We still do this now. We will say from Dumb and Dumber to Lions. So you're saying there's a chance. Right? You remember that?
Let me ask you a couple of wrap up. There's two final questions. I know we're almost out of time. You've learned a lot so far. I mean, wow. I mean, you've been through and you had some other entrepreneurial stuff even before BombBomb, which is great. What would you want to tell an aspiring entrepreneur 2 or 3 things real quick before we go? Any specific messaging you want to give?
Yeah, we touched on it earlier. I think I like to give 2 things. It depends what level you're at, right? If you're starting out right now, I think that people quit too soon. Don't give up.
Okay.
But you got to live in such a way that you don't have to give up. What I see moreover is younger entrepreneurs, they live beyond their means. They live to keep up with the Joneses, and you can't do that and build a business that it creates generational wealth for you in 160 families that we got at BombBomb. You can't do that if you're not willing to, in the beginning, kind of live below your means, know where that is. And so you can keep it going. You can get to the dream, but you can't do that driving a Tesla if you're starting out. I'm sorry. Like, I drove a Toyota Camry for 11 years, right? Like, Connor drove a freaking Honda Civic for too long. I made him sell. I'm like, no, I can't have you in this anymore. It's a liability for me. Like, we're selling it tomorrow. And so I think that's a lot of people do that. They get over their ski tips with money and they can't keep going, or, keep the job, do it on the side, work late, hustle it, figure it out. If you really got it. So that's, if you're starting out, that's what I'd say. If you're a bit bigger, team's everything. Team is everything. Team is everything. Who are you surrounding? What are your weaknesses? Do you know what they are? Are you accounting for them? Don't think you know everything. If you do, you're in trouble. So build a team that compensates your weaknesses and inspires and enables your strengths.
Totally agree. Last question. Well, go ahead. I missed that last part.
I mean, I feel like I said, and I think I said enables your strengths. Like,
yeah,
so
okay.
Compensates your weaknesses and your strengths.
Last question for you. If you had to put your core purpose, how old are you? Do you mind sharing that?
Yeah, I'm 47.
Okay. So at this stage in your life, 47 years old, because I do think core purpose kind of changes, and it's a little bit fluid as you move through life.
Sure.
What is Darin's core purpose in life? Well, you've touched on it several times. I know where your answer is going to go.
Yeah.
You've already kind of touched on it. You sum that up for us one more time. Your core purpose right now in life as a human being. Go for it.
Make a dent in the universe. I do not and the epitaph can't be like he was rich or he made a lot of money. He made this big business. Like, it has to be people were better because this guy did this and they whatever. It has nothing to do, less to do with BombBomb. I got 3 kids. I'm married. Like, I need to be a great husband, a great father, and a good leader. But I need to make a dent in the universe for a thing that matters more than financial gain. More
than the fishing boat that you bought or whatever, right? It's got to be bigger than that.
I literally tell my team, like, if I go buy like a Lamborghini or something, punch me right in the face. Walk up, punch me in the face.
I love it.
I'm not condemning you if you have a Lamborghini. Nothing wrong with success. Just for me, you're asking me. My personal agenda is to like make a dent in the universe for people. There's injustice everywhere. Slavery. We have more slavery in this world right now than we ever have. We need to somebody's got to do something. I feel like that's partly in a very small way me.
Okay. Darin, thank you so much for being on the Riderflex podcast and sharing your story. Really appreciate it.
It's great to meet you, man. It's fun to be here. Really fun.